Yo guys, what is up? This is Scammers from MenuDocs coming back to you again with another Discord.py episode. Today we're going to be doing episode 20, which is basically a paginated help command. This means we're going to have emojis down the bottom, and rather than having to do help 2 for page 2, you just click the next arrow and it moves over. But before we dive into that, just a quick little plug from our sponsor, Oxide Hosting.
Today's video is proudly powered by our partner, Oxide Hosting. Get your products hosted by them with their cheap, reliable services. So what are you waiting for? Check them out in the description below.
Sweet. Now that we've got that done, we can dive right into our episode. And I just want to remind you all that now that we're using Discord.py version 1.5 and above, you're going to be needing intents. And because our help command requires member intents for our emojis, I've just given it all here, and under privileged intents on the gateway, just enabled them both. Anyway, let's dive right into this. And first up, we are actually going to be making something in our util folder for once. And that's going to be using our library for today, which is discord.ext.buttons. Now, this isn't in there by default, despite the fact that it's under that folder. So you just have to pip install buttons, and you're good to go. Although, I already have it installed. Although I don't have the latest version of the pip, apparently. Anyway, we're just going to subclass that with our own little class here. And we're just going to override the teardown method. Async def teardown. And we're just going to try on page end pretty much. So whenever we've finished with the page, we're just going to clear the reactions. And that way it's just nice and clean. But if we've got an exception, just don't even worry about it. You did all you could. And that's all that matters. Now, just to follow P8, we just chuck that in there like that, and boom, whack, done. Now, you will need to import this in here, but we'll get around to that later on in the episode. Let's dive into the help command. I've got a little bit laid out already. And pretty much it's going to take an entity, which is going to be either none, which means we want to get every command on the bot and build a help command out of it. It can be a cog, which means, well, it's going to get all the commands in a cog. It can be like a group, get all the commands, get sub-commands. It can just be a normal command. But anyway, we're going to start off with if we want to do the entire bot. And we're going to call a method which doesn't exist, which is setup underscore help underscore head. And we're just going to give it CPA. Now, naturally, we haven't built this yet. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to call this, we're going to go ahead and copy. We're going to go ahead and paste. And this is going to take in 3 special arguments. A full stop, not quite, CPX, an entity, which is going to be none, and a title, which is also going to be none. Congratulations if you guessed those. Now here we're just going to be setting the entity to something, just to guarantee it's something. So it's either the entity or we just want bot, and that way we can iterate over all the bot commands. And then the title is just going to be equal to title, or self.bot.description, which we should have set. And now because this is paginated, we need classes, we need pages. And first up, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to check, is this entity a command? If it is, we need to do some special stuff because I want filtered commands. And this is just going to be a list, thank you very much, not a dictionary, of set, and it's going to be entity. So all underscore commands, and we're going to get the values of those. So we're not going to get like the names or anything, we want the values. But we can't guarantee that all commands have this, because as you might be noticing here, PyCharm is complaining. So we're just going to put a little if here. If it has an attribute, and all underscore commands, we want to do it. Otherwise, I just want an empty list. Now, if that's too much to ask for, filtered commands is just going to be equal to another function, which, wow, doesn't exist. Filtered commands. And that's going to take entity, and it's going to take CPX. Now, you might have guessed it already, but it's just, it's in def function arguments as well. But anyway, enough of that. And this is just going to return the filtered commands, so pretty much the commands that the user can run. And so we're going to go for C in walkable.walk commands. And C is just a name. But I'll explain what these are first. So CTX is just, CTX. Pretty standard, you should know that by now. But for the walkable, this can be the bot, this can be a cog, this can be a group. To iterate over all the subcommands, it just means we get all the commands attached to it. And so we're just going to try. So if the command is a hidden command, well, then it's hidden, we shouldn't show it. Or if it's a parent command, so it's a subcommand, because c.parent means it's got a parent, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to just continue. We're also going to see if the user can actually run this command. And then if you can do all of that, you can see this command in the help command. Because pretty much our little exception here is we're just going to go ahead and we only want to show the help command for commands users can actually run. Otherwise, they might feel a bit stink. Like if I have a logout command that they can't actually use, and then if they see the command and then they try to run it and it doesn't work, so it's kind of rats. So we do can run. So pretty much it takes CTX and then it goes over to the command and it goes, hey, have you got any decorators saying at owner only? And then it'll run all of those and it'll check whether or not you can run it or not. So it returns true or false. Well, that raises an exception actually if you can't run it, which is why we've got the try except. So that's pretty much that. And then we need to return self.return sorted commands. Because sure, we've got the filtered commands, but they're not quite sorted. And I want to put them in alphabetical order because, well, that's the nice thing to do, quite frankly. And let's just make this nice and simple. And this is just going to take a list of commands. And then it's just going to return sorted. And we're just going to give it command list. And we're just going to give it a nice little anonymous function here. Where, oopsie, I need to set key equals to lambda. Where we're going to give it x. And we're just going to sort by the name of the command. And so now that should be that nice and sorted out. So let's just go ahead and now let's also do something else. And we do need to set another value here. So we're just going to go self.commands _per_page. And we're going to set that to 6. So this is just going to be used to figure out basically how many per page. Basically, how many commands per page. But that's a bit technical at the moment. I'll show you them working later on. But now we're just going to loop over all of our commands and split them up into pages. So we're going to start at 0, we're going to go like this, and then we're also just going to have our commands per page as the little gap boy. And now I want to get the next commands as well. So essentially what we're attempting to do here is loop over all of our commands for this walkable, split it up into pages. So we're going to say if this is 6 per page and we've got 12 commands and filtered, this is going to be a loop that works twice. And we're just going to work this, so I, and then just we go, bam, I plus self dot commands per page. To split it up into all of the commands that should be on this page. And that's basically how that works. And then we can just loop over this and go for command. In this page's commands, let's go ahead and let's build the command entry. So the description is essentially just going to be the short doc string, which is, well, the doc string, but like the first couple of lines. Or it's going to be the description as defined in the command decorator. And then we're going to get a nice little signature for our command, which is just going to be self.get underscore command underscore signature, which is going to take command, it's going to take CTX, and that should be the last of our functions we have to define today. And that's just going to take in a little bit of self, a little bit of command, and we can be special here and we can type in this just to force it to, change it over. Makes it really nice and easy for us to work with. And this is going to be context. And then we're going to have some aliases because commands can have aliases, I've used them in the episodes before, and it's just quite nice. And now the command invoke is essentially just what you need to call in order to, like, you know, run the command. So the command invoke, you're either going to run it with the name, or you're going to run it with the aliases. But, you know, what if we don't have any aliases? You know? So if we don't have any aliases, you're literally just running it with the command's name. So it's pretty simple. And then I want to make the full invoke using this. And then we're just going to essentially go here, go command. So qualified name, which is the full name with, you know, all the parents if it's a subcommand and yada yada. Except we're going to replace the command name with an empty string. And you'll see the reason for that in the next line when I define signature. This is just going to be enough F string with the prefix. And then we're going to have the full invoke. And then we're going to have the command invoke. And then we're going to put the command signature. And return that. And so essentially what this is doing here is we're going to get the prefix. We're going to get pretty much all of the parent commands here. And then we're going to get the actual command itself with aliases. And then we're going to get any arguments that you need to put in there to call the command. So like a help command would have entity equals null. And I'll show you that in a second. But now that we've got that, we can go back down to our paginated boy. And we can continue working on it. Now because we're hiding subcommands, how are users going to know whether or not a command has subcommands? Well, quite simply put, that's what this is going to do. So we're going to get command, and then we're going to go all underscore commands. Otherwise, it doesn't have subcommands. And so now that we've got the required information, let's make a command entry for the command. So it's going to be an F string. I'm just going to have some nice little Unix there, some formatting nicely, and then we're going to go command dot name, more markdown, and then we're going to just make a new line, and in code blocks, we're going to put the signature. New line, close out that code block, and then we're just going to put the description of our command, and then a further new line. And that's only if our entity is a command.command, however. If it's not, well, we still want an F string. We still want this nice little, you know, copy and paste, a little bit of markdown, make it look really cute. But for now, I just want the description, and then we're just going to go bam bam, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm just going to put the subcommand. And then we're just going to go bang bang. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And so now that that is done, we are going to put this on our page. And then basically all we need to do from now is await. We do need to import this now. Remember earlier on when I said we had to import this? Utils.util import. Done. And then remember what I said earlier on, we need to start this. And so this just takes a title, which if you've been paying attention, we've got a color, which I'm just going to set to the hex value of CE2029. And then we're going to have entries, and that's going to be our pages. And the length is just going to be 1. And then all we need to do from this is we just need to start it, and to start it, we need CTX. Additionally, you can provide the page to start on, but that's a little bit outside the scope for this one. We just want to start it at the start. We can go ahead, we can run the bot. I'll show you guys this working. And now we'll just go ahead and we'll run it. We can't give it any commands at the moment, because we've only made the additional help command. So now we'll just go ahead and look at this. Look. Working. Nice. And look, you can see new, it's got sub command. And like we can go right to the end. You can tell it's just the last page because it's only got 4. And like you can skip right back to the start and things. It's quite nice. So let's say I close the bot and I want to play around with commands per page. Let's make it 3. It'll be fairly obvious the changes I've made. So currently you can see there's 6 commands there. Well, if you're paying attention now, you'll see there's only 3 commands there. But anyway, let's dive back into the code because we're not quite finished yet. We've only made it for the bot, and we've got a lot more walkables that we can work with. And so pretty much else, if we don't have an entity, we're going to go cog, and we're just going to go self.bot.get underscore cog, and give it the entity. And then if that cog actually exists, because, you know, it can return none, we're just going to go self.setup helm page, and then we're going to give it CTX, we're going to give it cog, and then we're going to give it a nice little title, where the title is cog.qualified underscore name, qualified name, sweet, I think I spelled that correct, and then we're just going to go comments. And while we're here, we might just add the else. So if we're at the else, we're assuming it's a command, because that's the only other workable we can have, and then we're just going to get underscore command. Your entity, this can return a group, it can return a group mixin, it can return a command, it can also return none. And so here we're just going to go, oh wait, self.setup help page. We're going to give it CTX, we're going to give it command, and we're going to give it, believe it or not, command dot name. And else, this just means it's not anything we can work with, anything we can walk over. We're just going to go, and we're going to go, wait, ctx.send entity not found. Let's go ahead, let's test this. Let's see if we can't get some sick help commands going to help. And what's a cog I can remember? What is a cog? API? Sweet, look at that. API's commands. There's a dad joke in there. There's a news country in there. Do these still work? Yes, sir, they do not. That's probably because I don't have my API key in there. But that's not the point of this episode. Functions also do help, and let's do new. You see new, there's got the new category, you've also got new channel. It's quite nice, if I must say so myself. And then what if we just want to go help? Interesting. Can't take itself as an entity. So let's go have a look. You must provide at least one entry or page for pagination. Which means we've gone ahead here and it's not providing anything here. It's returned none. And it's pretty much, oh look at that. There's our hero with the API. So let's go ahead. Sweet. So I've gone ahead and I've figured out what's gone wrong. And pretty much it just was me forgetting when we're checking if it's a command to actually add the command. So in here, we're just going to insert right at the start, we're going to insert the command itself. Because sometimes it's literally just an empty list, and then that empty list carries the entire way through down to here, which means we have literally nothing, which is why it's throwing that error. So if we rerun the bot, you should see here as well that, you know, you were going so well, and quite possibly it's going even better now, because look at that. Help works, help giveaway, even that works. Like, it's just brilliant. Anyway guys, I'll leave you there. I'll leave the episode on that. We'll leave it on a high. I hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, peace out guys.